Welcome to another deep dive. We've got a whole bunch of stuff, reports, analyses, all about this new Formula One technical directive on front wing flexibility.
Right,
It might sound kind of dry at first,
right.
but this is really where the engineering and the super high stakes of the competition all come together.
Yeah,
It gets really interesting.
absolutely. And we're basically looking at how teams were finding clever ways to bend the rules, literally for an edge on the track.
Okay, so the FIA Formula One's governing body, right?
Right.
They step in and say, whoa, okay, let's stiffen up these front wings a little bit. What sparked this move? And why should we care?
Well, flexible front wings aren't like inherently illegal.
Right.
In fact, they're actually vital for performance.
Okay.
So think about a car needing grip in a slow corner
Yeah,
and then needing to minimize drag on a high-speed straight.
makes sense.
A slightly flexible wing can adjust downforce on the fly, almost like a transformer, for aerodynamics,
Oh, cool.
to help the car adapt.
So some flexibility is okay.
Right.
But some teams were like, let's take this way too far.
Exactly. The FIA has tests to measure this flex,
Okay,
applying a strong force to the wing.
gotcha.
But teams, especially McLaren, got really creative exploiting the difference between a static test and real-world racing.
Hold on, are you saying that their wings were passing the test, like in the factory,
Yep,
but then getting super flexible when they're out there on the track?
exactly.
How is that even possible?
McLaren basically engineered the wing's internal structure
Okay.
to flex dramatically at high speeds way beyond what the static tests showed.
Wow.
This gave them a significant advantage, particularly in the 2024 season.
Hmm.
Imagine a spring that's incredibly tight at first,
Yeah.
but then releases a burst of energy at a specific point.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of what they achieved.
Their Miami update in 2024 was the talk of the paddock.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it.
Everyone was buzzing about their flex geometry.
Mm-hmm.
Did they basically find a loophole that nobody else had thought of?
Their approach was certainly innovative.
Okay.
They found a way to make the wing super stiff for the FIA's test,
Yeah.
but then allow it to deform significantly under race conditions.
Oh.
This all happened at a time when front wing downforce became even more crucial.
You mentioned an aerodynamic bottleneck.
Yes.
What was that all about?
The 2024 regulations, combined with teams getting better at controlling bouncing,
Right.
shifted the emphasis to front wing downforce for car balance.
Okay.
The lower ride heights created tons of downforce from the car's underbody,
Yeah.
making the car very sensitive to balance shifts.
So McLaren's flexible wing helped them overcome this balance challenge
Right.
and gain a real speed advantage.
Right.
But it also created a ton of controversy, right?
Oh, absolutely. There were even conspiracy theories flying around.
Oh, wow.
Some suggesting Red Bull was being held back by the FIA.
Really?
But in reality, it seemed like McLaren simply out-engineered everyone within the rules.
McLaren pulling off a heist in broad daylight. Incredible.
Yeah.
But if they were within the rules, why did the FIA decide to intervene?
Well, the FIA's new technical directive limits how much flex is allowed under that same strong force they use in testing.
Okay,
This effectively stiffens the wings, especially at high speeds.
right.
Especially at high speeds.
So the wings can still flex a bit,
Yeah.
just not as dramatically as before.
Right.
This begged the question, who wins and who loses with this new directive?
It's tempting to say McLaren and Mercedes lose the most since they were the one pushing the flex boundaries.
Yeah,
It's almost as if the FIA said, okay, you guys are getting a little too clever.
right.
But Formula One is rarely that straightforward.
There's always a twist. So are you saying that McLaren might actually benefit from this?
Consider this. McLaren arguably has the most experience with flexible wing designs.
Okay.
They have Rob Marshall, an aerodynamicist known for pushing the limits of flex for years, even back at Red Bull.
So they're not just reacting to the rule change.
Right.
They're already a step ahead
Exactly.
because of their expertise.
Plus, even with tighter limits, there's still room for innovation.
Okay.
It's an ongoing game of cat and mouse between the teams and the FLA.
Right.
It's like McLaren sacrificed a pawn to gain a strategic advantage later in the chess match.
Intriguing. But this wasn't just a technical change.
Right.
We also had teams like Ferrari and Red Bull reportedly pushing the FIA to crack down on flexible wings.
Yeah.
What role did these behind-the-scenes politics play?
The political maneuvering is a huge part of Formula One.
Yeah, for sure.
While we can't know for sure what happened in those closed-door meetings,
Right.
those dynamics are fascinating.
Yeah.
Imagine the tension in the room as teams argued for their interests.
Yeah.
It was likely a real-life house of cards, but with race cars instead of politicians?
This technical directive has thrown a wrench into the 2025 season.
Yeah,
It's a great reminder that Formula One is about more than just building the fastest car.
right.
It's about understanding and exploiting the rules better than your rivals.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the ingenuity of the engineers and designers,
Yeah.
constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. possible.
Right.
Sometimes it's knowing when to push for a rule change
Mm.
that seems like a divorce,
Yeah.
but actually plays to your strength.
So for us fans watching the races,
Right.
what are the telltale signs that a team is still pushing the limits of flex,
Mm-hmm.
even with this new directive?
Keep a close eye on the front wing, especially at high speeds.
Okay,
You might still see some flex, just not as dramatic as before.
gotcha.
Pay attention to how the cars handle in slow corners versus high-speed straights.
Okay,
Since that balance issue we discussed is still at play.
right. Because even a slight flex can make a difference in those critical moments.
Exactly.
And of course, we'll be looking at lap times and race results
Right.
to see if the pecking order has shifted at all.
This is just the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see if McLaren maintains their edge or if other teams have managed to catch up.
This whole saga with the front wings, it really shows how Formula One is always evolving.
Yeah.
The technology, the regulations, the strategies.
It's like a high-speed game of chess.
Yeah.
Where the board is constantly shifting.
And it makes you realize that every single element of these cars,
Mm-hmm.
even something as seemingly simple as a front wing,
Right.
is the result of incredible engineering and a deep understanding of the rules.
Yeah, it's a constant back and forth between pushing the boundaries and adapting to new constraints.
So listener, what do you think? Was this rule change necessary to keep things fair, or did it stifle innovation in the sport? We'd love to hear your take on this.
One thing's for certain, this technical directive adds another layer of intrigue to the already complex world of Formula One.
Absolutely, and we'll be right here dissecting every twist and turn as the 2025 season unfolds. Until next time, remember, every thousandth of a second counts.
That's the essence of Formula One, the relentless pursuit of speed and perfection within the ever-changing boundaries of the sport.